being the fastest quarterback you've never seen. I'll be right back. There's no quicker way to get into DFS. Play Super Draft today and see for yourself.
We're behind. They're all fired up. What we got to do? First place, our defense has got to go out there and take the ball. Then when we get the ball, we got to have 11 people that's going to do their job and try to score every time you get the football. If we do that, we'll be all right. Do that, we'll be all right.
Welcome, everyone, to CTS Special Report on Big Oil versus college football fans. Tonight, I am honored to have with me the president and historian from the Bama Football Collective, Waylon. How you doing, Waylon?
I'm good. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing great, sir. Hey, before I take the leash off of Waylon, let him cut loose here. I just want to do a special thanks and a remembrance to a dear, great friend of mine and basically a sister to my wife from another mother. She passed away today, and rest in peace, Tammy. We love you. All right, Waylon, leash is off, brother. Have at it, man. Let's talk about this oil.
Let's
talk about this oil. Go for it.
Well, I was gonna let you start out a little bit and you know and hear your opinion about what you think sort of might be the troubles of it, and then I'll grab hold of the ball and kick it.
All right. Well, basically, the way I'm seeing it, that the oil prices has got blown slap out of proportion because we've shut down the pipeline. We've stopped putting out permits, so we can't drill on our oil. We went from being a importer of oil to having to beg people to buy it. So now they're ranking that price up so high, we're having to do it. And our big government is just totally screwing us on this one when we had the upper hand before this administration took over. Now, that's my personal opinion.
Well, I can see, excuse me, I can see your side to it. We'll touch first on what you said about the Keystone Pipeline.
All right. I'm going to put you up front here. Wrong one.
Oh, you don't have to do that. We can both stay on the screen. It'll be fine, however you want to do it. Anyway, we'll start about the Keystone Pipeline. The Keystone Pipeline runs out of Canada and down through just about, we'd say, the Midwest states of the United States of America, all the way down to Port Arthur, Texas.
Correct.
I worked in the tar sands in Canada. That's right above. You know, Canada's chopped off. They're in provinces. Yeah. Right. We're in the states. So Canada's huge. People don't really realize how big Canada is till you get up there in the province. They're huge, you know. Yes. Look on your map above Edmonton. You go above Edmonton, you'll see a little town called Fort McMurray, and above that, you're basically in a tundra. The roads, there's no more roads that's on the map, not on even Google Earth. Exxon, Shell, Mobil, BP, and all them would up there years and years ago. They bought just about 55,000 square miles of property up there. I'll say that one more time, 55,000.
Yep.
That's a lot. That's a lot of property they bought up there. And they estimated that would be, at our time back then when I was working with them, they put an estimate out of 188 years worth of oil. 180. Those were true numbers. They had studied that way before they bought it. And they also had a number of about 1.7 trillion barrels. And the Keystone Pipeline, what a lot of people think the Keystone Pipeline is not open. It is. It is open. The point is, it was the XL part that comes down through Canada that wanted to go back through the state of Nebraska again. And really what shut it down, that was about nearly one of the last projects I worked on before I retired. What got a hold of that, there was about 20% of that pipeline completed. That was in the Canada part. And there was any completion of it across the Canada-U.S. border. And they put a stop to it. And I can tell you the biggest thing that put the stop to it was the EPA in the state of Nebraska. The Indians did not want that pipeline, another pipeline running through their state, which the main Keystone Pipeline runs through their state. They didn't want another off branch on it because that Keystone Pipeline is sitting on big stands. It's above ground.
Right.
It's not underground, which is really better if it is above ground, because you can fix a leak or something a lot quicker, and you can go to digging.
And you can find it. You can find it a lot quicker too.
Yeah, you're talking about a pipeline. The diesel tire looked like a little bitty basketball. The pipe is. I mean, that's the part of the Keystone Pipeline I try to educate people on that is not open. The main Keystone Pipeline that comes all the way out of Canada and all the way down through the states and to Port Arthur, Texas is open. Plus, they tried to put more train cars on the cars to, because the Keystone XL, that's the one that's not open, that the EPA and the Indians didn't want coming through their state again. Okay, well, they're putting more oil on trains, and they're also trucking more oil from down there. So they're trying to make that up for that pipeline not being open. Trump said the pipeline was open. I hate to tell him the pipeline wasn't open. Never was open. You can't open a pipeline. It's not finished.
True.
Right. You can't, you can't do that. Now, I wish they would have finished it. Yeah, it would have made probably 25, 30, maybe 35,000 more jobs. But permanent jobs, no, there would have been some permanent jobs, the maintenance and the upkeep of the line itself, sure. There's guys that's going to do that. And money's money, it hurt. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why right now, really, I tell you, that's what's got that held up. And then we'll move on from the Keystone Pipeline is the EPA in the state of Nebraska and the Indians that lived in that state did not want that XL extension another extension going through their state. So that's really and truly what has that held up.
Can I ask you a question, your opinion?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. This is because you know more about this than I do, obviously. Me and you in two different fields. You worked the lines. You worked in the industry. So you know it inside and out. I never did. So this is just me asking questions here. So this Exxon extension line that's coming down, that's been halted by the EPA and the reservations there, do you think it's because the Exxon is not giving the Indian reservations and their history money to back up what's coming through? Because you already got one. Right. So do you think that's what it boils down to? I'm just asking. I don't know.
I can tell you, I'm not trying to correct you. It's not X. They call it the Keystone XL.
Right.
You might have thought I said Exxon, but anyway, what it is they had a spill on the main pipeline. I forgot how many thousands of gallons of oil spilled. I forgot. It was on up there. It was
still a lot.
And that's one of the main reasons that the Indians did not want another extension coming through their state, because that spills in the state of Nebraska.
Okay. Makes sense.
And like I said, that pipeline sits on big stands. I mean,
Right.
I'm
I've seen the pictures. Yeah.
I'm 6 foot tall and it's way above my head, above on those big stands. And they don't want, thank God it was on a stand. They could get it cleaned up before it got way down in the ground. Of course, they would in there and they had to dig all that up. All that ground has to be dug up by you.
Yeah. And disposed of.
Yeah. And fresh ground put in. And that's the reason why, that is the biggest reason why they didn't want the extension coming through Nebraska, another extension on it. Is there anything else you got to find about the pipe?
No, that was my main thought there. I was just trying to figure out one backside of the story is trying to go, all right, we got this extra line coming down here. They don't want it, which got to respect their opinion. If you don't want it, you don't want it. But I didn't know because you already had one. Was it money involved in that? That was my only question.
Well, right now, really, I'm not going to lie to you. The EPA and the Indians do not want it because they're afraid they'll have another spill. And it's just, they think that much of the land. And, and I respect them for that because, you can look at it any way you want to. We sort of mistreated the planet a little bit.
Ain't no sort of, we did. Bottom line, there ain't no sort of to it. Anybody that studies history knows we did. Believe me, I've studied a lot of history. But when you go on the spills, though, if you're hauling it through rail, do you not still have that same threat, more so, of having a spill, a car going across, hitting? I mean, I'm just curious.
Well, what I meant by that, they're hauling it. They're trying to make up for that XL extension not being open.
Right. So
they're trying to bring more by truck, more by rail. The way they can do it to make up for that extension. It's never, in my opinion, it never will.
Okay. All right. I respect that.
I
just don't see how going over rail and the roads is less of a percentage of an accident happen when you have a major spill. That's just all I was curious about.
Oh, I understand. I'll tell you what'll blow your mind. When we was in Canada working up there in those tar sands, it very seldom rained during the summer. If it did, it was it was sort of a religious. It's dry heat. Might get up to 85 degrees if you're lucky. They might get a week and a half of that, but it's dry heat. And it rained, and the way they've got the EPA laws written, that somebody of an evening you always brought your stub buckets, 5-gallon buckets and stuff in and locked them and dumped your rods in a certain place and done all this. Well, somebody left a stub bucket out. Well, it got full of water. Ooh. And that boy didn't know. And thank goodness the boss was just there. The next day we done our calisthenics, our stretching and all that. And then we had our prayer. And he went over there to get that bucket and he was fixing to do this. And that boss screamed at him, "Don't you dump that water on." You couldn't dump water on the ground the way the Indians had that contract with the EPA written. It was you had to take that water and put it in a 50-gallon drum and a forklift to come around and get it so often when it was full and dump it into something else and they carried it somewhere else.
Right.
Now, you talk about crazy EPA laws. You can't dump water out of a pail on the ground.
Well, it depends on what's been in that pail, though. Sure. I have to agree with that. Because in military with nuclear waste, I do know a little bit about that one. So I have to agree with that. If somebody just threw their gloves after they came out of anyway into a container and it got filled with water, it was more contaminated than what you just threw away. So I do understand that one.
Yes, it was. I just wanted to bring it up. A lot of people said, "Oh, law, you couldn't." Well, no, sir. If you do, they caught you doing it. Gone. That's how those Indians love that property. That's how they thought. That's how they're so much more connected to Mother Nature and the land than we actually are ourselves.
I wish we were too. Believe me, I wish we were too, because you can't make no more land.
No,
even though China's making some islands, but you still can't make more land. So I do wish we loved our land as much as the Indians do. I'll give you that one. Our animals. Exactly.
I mean, they could have saw. I don't know how many pages that contract was. They gave it to us, but it was unreal. But going to the oil, the people are saying we once was the biggest producer of oil, Right now, these are just about dead nuts numbers right now today. We are producing in the United States of America about 11,920,000 barrels a day.
Okay.
Okay, that's from states like this. Here's your oil states. These are the main states right here: Texas, North Dakota, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Colorado, and Alaska. That's where your 11,920,000 barrels that we do a day is basically. Basically, that's where it's coming from. That's the states right there, period.
Right.
That's it. So to really make it to start our next segment, we make 11,920,000 barrels a day. Okay, guess how many barrels a day it takes us to operate in the United States for one day?
I saw that spec yesterday, but I couldn't remember it. I was working, and so them numbers didn't stick in my head.
Over 20 million barrels for one day.
That's a lot.
That's just here in the United States.
Right.
That's just here in the United States. Okay, we're producing 11,920,000 barrels a day, and we're still lacking what? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Nearly 9 more million barrels just to make up what we use a day.
All right. I know I'm opening up a can of worms here.
That's not like
I've got to ask. I'm
Ask.
sorry, I've got to ask this question. All right. So with that being said, how come under the past administration we were making enough oil, we are getting enough oil to remanufacture and the gasoline that we had plenty here and was selling it overseas, and now we're not able to do that, and we're having to buy so much from overseas with the Saudi won't even pick the phone up no more.
Well, we still buy from the Saudi Arabia. Don't let them lie.
Well, yeah, we're still got to. Too much money there. I'm just saying, though. That's that. Why? Why is that? How do we go from one extreme to the other?
They didn't necessarily tell you the whole story and the truth to all of that also.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
We might have been the major producer of oil, but now no matter what you do, it's like having money. I'll put it this way. It's like having money, a checking account and a savings account. People say, well, open up the reserves. You have to put so much oil in reserve no matter what. We got to have something to fall back.
Yes. Case of big time war or something. Yes.
Right. Exactly. We'd have to what we have to fall back on probably wouldn't last. I don't really know the numbers on this, just to fuel the military if we got into a major war.
Right.
Think about all the jet fuel and all the tanks and all the all about that.
I know. I got you on that one. Not mention the ships. We won't even go with the ships.
People don't want nuclear power. How many ships were you on that had nuclear power that ran?
None that was on for nuclear power.
None.
I was a BT, so we still had boilers. Now they've done away with boilers and done all generators.
Yeah.
But still, you got to have that fuel backup out there.
Yeah, that's what we done. We built the boilers. That's what we were the original guys under the hood is what we used to say. We were the boiler makers was.
Yep,
we know
I was a BT1.
Yeah, when you're a boiler
BT1. Flying asshole, I'm right there with you, brother.
Well, people,
yeah, but you still didn't answer my question though. How did we go from one extreme to the other? Well, we had enough. Prices were good. Economy's going good. We're selling it. Now we ain't selling it. We don't have enough. How did that happen? That's the part I'm missing. Of course, I'm working and I'm having to pay for my gas every day, $100 a pop now. But that's the part I'm missing.
Well, first of all, there's a word we can't mention on here, and you know what that is.
Yep, I do.
Gas prices was low for 2 years. You remember the prices? We were down to what, $1.70 something a gallon at one time.
Right there, yeah, it was under $2 a gallon. Yes, sir.
Also, you saw people not going back and forth as much. I noticed it in my neighborhood. I don't know how you noticed it in your area, but I did. I noticed it. Supply and demand. Once again, there wasn't a big demand back then for it. We were stockpiling it.
Right.
Because we were not burning as much fuel and changing the oil in our cars also and all that stuff as we are now.
Right.
So that major hiccup we had for a couple of years threw the numbers in the ditch is what it done. They didn't tell you the true numbers. We were on top. We were putting oil in reserves. We were selling other countries, oil to them because they sold us oil. So they might call and say, hey, we need a few more extra barrels. Okay, y'all done what we said. So here you go. Let me tell you something. You know how many countries we buy oil from a day? How many?
Honestly, I do not, so I don't keep up with that one.
81 countries a day.
Okay.
We buy oil from every day. Every day. Let me tell you this number. You know who produces, who puts more oil in the United States, imports more oil in the United States than anybody else? Canada.
You know what Canada does?
56%. Just in this country. That's true numbers. 56%. That's huge, man.
So it was a good thing then when the past administration set up a great relationship between Mexico and Canada then. That kind of worked into our favor as Americans, correct?
Right.
Okay, cool. I'm just curious there.
Canada right now imports 56% of our oil consumption. If we didn't have them, I don't care if we're number one or not, we would be in the hole every day. I don't care. They'd have to go to drilling in other places. They would, and there's a lot of places where this oil is, but when you get into the mountains out in those western states, how long do you think it's going to take you to get to that oil before you can make any profit if you have to demolish big, huge mountains and stuff? How long
I understand. Oh, believe me, I do understand what you're saying on that one because one of my first jobs in high school, I was a water well driller, the old pound rigs. Yeah. So I do understand where you're coming from on that one.
You got to look at like they done since the 60s. I mean, the reason the tar sands are the way Canada is now, it took Canada over 50 or 60 years to get the tar sands going like they are today. They just did this project 10, 20 years ago. They started this project in the 60s. And when you start, people say, we can just go to drilling. Well, you can on certain parts of land where it's flat and stuff. It's easier said than done.
I understand. Yeah, but you got to clear out all that. Yes, I believe me. I understand. You got to do geographic, see what's underneath. I got you on all that. I got you there.
You can't do it. You just can't go out in Colorado and Montana and start blowing those mountains up and expect to drill and get oil the next day. You're talking about years of preparation before you ever suck one drop out of the ground.
That is true. Plus you got old timers like me who I don't know if they allow you to do it anymore or not. We bought our mineral rights to our property.
Yeah.
So that changed the whole progress because the coal industry, the reason we had to do it. But anyway, go ahead, man. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You're not interrupting me. That's the problem we're having right now with the water out in Nevada and, Lake Mead and the Hoover Dam, and it's dropping every day. That's the problem right. And then they're having to go back and suck the water out of the ground, your groundwater.
Right.
Which trickles off into your rivers, creeks, and stuff that goes into those big lakes and stuff. And when you suck all your groundwater out, they're in big trouble out west if they don't do something and do it in a hurry. Well, they've got, I think they've passed a law. I think they've got somewhere between 2 to 4 years. They're going to have to start making some major changes, or the government will take their property and get the water and distribute the water, because people don't realize Lake Mead is going down. That lake supplies over 6 million people with water. And it's dropping every day. There's a guy on YouTube that does a video of it they go out once a week.
I've been watching that. I've been watching that.
People say flushing it in the ocean. Come on, man.
All right. Move on to your next topic now.
I mean, that we're in trouble.
We are. I ain't gonna deny we are.
Here's I just put 10 countries down. The top 10 countries we get oil from, that gives us the most oil. Like I said, we buy oil every day from 81 countries a day. That's unreal. It's actually more than 81. Canada's number one. And guess the country who is number two we bash every day. Who is it? Mexico. We bash them every day. We hate them.
Russia. Got to be Russia.
No, it's Mexico's number two.
Mexico?
We love them.
Okay.
We don't want them in this country, but we love their oil. You know.
Now, wait a minute. Hold up. I got to defend our country on this one now. We want them here, but we want them here legal. We don't want them just coming over there. I've got to defend this one, Waylon. I love you to death. You know that.
Got to have
we want you to come through and do it legal. I've got too many Hispanic friends who still spending their hard-earned money to do it the right way.
I know.
For somebody just anyway, that's a story for another day. I'm getting out of that one. Go ahead, brother.
That story you'll be talking about till you and I die because of the problem and everything.
We can do another special report on that one.
You got Canada's number one, Mexico's number two, Saudi Arabia is number three, Russia's number four. All right, you got Colombia, number five, Iran, number six, Ecuador, 7, United Kingdom, 8, Nicaragua, 9, and South Korea, 10. Now, the Russians, we got about 405,000 barrels a day from them. Basically, somewhere. Those numbers go up and they'll go down, just like that. I mean, they'll change at the snap of a finger. All it takes was that 405,000 barrels not coming in here consistently with this Ukraine war to throw the numbers off in the ditch and to make everything go crazy. Did Vladimir Putin make the price of gas go up? Yes. Did he cause all of it? No. No, it's not all his fault. No.
I do have a question on that one. Why are we buying any damn thing from them?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They don't tell you the whole story. They're not going to. But they're supposed to be our biggest enemy, but we're buying 405,000 barrels of oil from them a day.
That's my point. That is my point. All right, go ahead, brother. Go ahead. We're gonna get into why all this is messing with us football fans right here in a second.
Remember Ukraine. They went into Ukraine. Ukraine was the biggest supplier of wheat in the whole world out of any other country.
Right.
Ukraine. They have just the right ground. I don't know, the right temperature, the right climate. They can grow it and produce it way better than any other country in the world. So there's your hiccup in your food supply. Right there.
Okay.
They are the leading wheat producer in the whole world. That's not Waylon's numbers. That's the real numbers, not mine. Okay. And they all supply over. I think they said just 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 million people. Right. That's a lot of people, man. And when you cut that off, you're in trouble. And that 405,000 barrels a day, I don't know how much has been cut off or how much we're not buying from them. But that did help the spike in the gas prices going up. Plus, the bottom line is this. It's their oil.
Right.
And I don't care what president you have in there. We've always saw gas prices go up. We saw them go down, go down, go up, go down, go up. Why? Right. Because it's their oil. They can do that. And can Washington, D.C. stop them? No. And one thing Biden shouldn't have done is when he went into office and said, I'm going to kick the fossil fuel industry in the mouth and shut them down. You can't do that. You know why? You know what they're doing now, don't you? They're making you pay $6 a gallon for their gas. You think they can't pull money out of your pocket? And Biden and Trump both love sanctions. They love to put sanctions on countries. Sanction them for this, sanction them for that. Once again, these countries we're still buying oil from, you got sanctions and your foot on their throat choking them to death. Well, they're going to get you back one way or the other. And right now, if you look at your gas prices, they're getting you back.
I see your point. You made some good points, especially you worked in the industry. You see through the bullshit. Yeah. So I would give you that 110%. But the bottom line is the problem's here. It might be here to stay. But now let's talk about what this is creating. What this is creating, let's go just ticket sales. Ticket sales in college is easily the leading way as the largest money maker of the grossing college football teams in the USA. So if these prices are so high, I mean, I know myself, if I want to go to a game, I had to pre-plan and save up for it. I let my wife know. She goes, all right, you're going to have to smoke one less pack of cigarettes this week. You know, that's one less bottle of liquor you're going to be able to get this week. We're going to have to set this money back to be able to go to this game. Well, now it's went from one pack of cigarettes to 3 packs a week, 2 bottles a week. You know, can't go down and get my ice cream now. You know, we're just having to set back. So if I'm having to do it and I've got a great job who I love and respect them, you know, just imagine what everybody else is going through.
Yeah, sure.
You know, it's tight. So it's going to affect games. I mean, you can see how the attendance has been dropping over the past 7 years anyway. And that's because of social media and TV. I mean, when people's got let's say a 55-inch to 70-inch TV in their living room that they can do what they want to, why not go to a game?
Absolutely.
I get that. I understand. But now the struggle of just being able to save enough money to buy a ticket, because these tickets are high for us to get in. All right, now let's talk about why the tickets are so high to get in. Let's just talk about the athletic apparel, the clothing. How many fans will go out and buy athletic apparel just to show their support for their fans and college teams? Athletic apparel for the largest and most supporting teams can be a significant source of income for the university. They need that money to be able to put on the games, supply the material into the concession stands, to get the weight rooms, to get the music, to get the lighting, all that. Well, this is affecting all that because the more it's costing them. I mean, let's just take a concession stand, for instance. Sure. You want to get an order of hot dogs in to sell. Well, that truck driver that's having to bring them, having to spend more money for diesel, that money is going to trickle down to the college who has to raise their prices, which us as fans going in, we're going to have to spend more money for that damn hot dog just because of this damn oil bullshit.
Right.
I mean, that's just one thing. Buy a shirt. Let's buy a shirt. Well, now to buy a shirt, what shirt's made out of? Petroleum.
Yeah.
All right. So you got petroleum products here that they go up. So we have to save up money just to buy a damn shirt. So now the colleges are losing money that they would naturally come in I ain't going to get into the NIL bullshit where the collectives, these guys are having to put their money to get a player instead of putting it into the college for a new stadium or whatever, because Lord knows Alabama needs a new basketball stadium. You know, it's cutting down across the board, no matter what fan you are, the money that they can put back into the college. I mean, that's just minimum stuff. But the bottom line, college football is a huge source of revenue for these universities. And on some of the smaller ones, it's pretty much the main one.
Yeah.
And when it gets to the point they can't afford to, or us fans can't even afford to go see a game, it's going to hurt all the way around. Then what's that going to hurt? It's going to hurt the scholarships. They're going to have to cut the scholarships down. They're going to have to, the quality of teachers they hire, because the good teachers want more money. I mean, all this oil trickles all the way down to these poor people's education. And something has to be done with this shit. I'm sorry, it does.
Well, I can remember once again, I've said it like an old broke record. I showed the tickets. I've even showed pictures of them on TDN where me and my daddy go to Legion Field and $10 to see Alabama play football, 50-yard line ticket.
Right.
I mean, Nick Saban's had so much success. They've just about priced out where it is. A poor man can't go to a college football game.
Right.
It's
getting hard for people to go to high school games right now, much less a college game.
Yeah, $10. $10 to go to Legion Field to see. Well, it was cheaper than that. I've got tickets. I'll go dig them up, and I'll dig them up. I think I've got some. It was $6 and $8.
Right.
I mean, that's unreal. See if you can do that today. You can't even park for that, man.
Nope, you can't.
Somebody charge. They ought to be out there. I mean, to park on somebody's property, yeah, they ought to charge you a little bit of money. If they're going to watch your car and take care of it, I don't mind giving somebody $20. But when you start talking 50 and 100 to park, no.
You done lost your damn mind. But they know they can get it.
I don't care how much money I got. That's what I'll find somebody is cheaper. I mean, but when I go, I've got Tide Pride tickets, so I park right there by the Publix anyway, because that's roped off for Tide Pride people right in there.
William Bryant brings up a damn good point here. A poor man can't afford it.
No.
So what does that do? That lowers the attendance at ball games, which also, if they can afford to get to the ball game with their kid, they're only going to get maybe one thing of popcorn and a Coke, and the parents going to give it all to the kid.
Sure.
They lost sales over that, and it all because of the price of damn oil. I mean, like I said, something's got to give, or it's going to hurt college football worse than the transfer portal and NIL.
It's not given, though. That's the problem. I mean, it's not given. And William's right. I mean, I want to bring a point about look at the USFL.
Yes.
I do believe now some of the people are not that crazy about it, and I understand that. William follows it way better than I do. I don't follow it really that much, but $10 to see a ball game, I don't know how much that is. They really just don't care about the USFL, but I think some of that was affected. Was affected because of gas prices and stuff. Because couldn't get there.
I give you a good point. From where I live, right here in Lafayette, Georgia, if I went to watch one of the games, which would be Birmingham, I ain't gonna lie about it, it'd be Birmingham Stallions. If I went to watch, for me to drive from here down there, not even staying overnight. That means if it's a late game, I'm going to be nodding off trying to drive back, up here. I am dropping at least $150 in gas for a $20. Me and one other person, $10 a piece, $20 ticket. Everybody can't do that, man. They can't afford it. That might be why they put all the games in the one stadium. I don't know. I don't see how it helps, but that might be why. I don't know.
I didn't understand that part either, why they just put, all those other teams have stadiums in their state, but I guess they put it in one state because they knew the people wasn't going to travel. I guess they just knew they'd try to, gamble and get the most money they could in one spot, probably. I'm still scratching my head about that one. I'm like,
if I had to guess, I would go, okay, which conference does the most traveling as a whole? SEC.
Sure.
So let's put the games down there, and hopefully people will want to come see these other teams play when they're not playing their Alabama Birmingham team, but we don't give a shit.
Well, I'll put up and then we'll have a good time the rest of the show. They're going to have to, the United States is going to have to lift some sanctions on some countries, get their foot off their throat.
Right.
Going to have to, that's the first thing they're going to have to do, because if you don't, the oil that we're buying from those countries, they're sitting there going, well, the more they put sanctions on us, we're going to raise that barrel of oil up about another $10, $15, $5.
Yep.
Because we know they got to have it. We know they want it. And, he said he was going over to see the Saudis and get them to raise production. He needs to go up to Canada, and see Justin Trudeau and talk to him, because the Saudis ain't they're not the number one importer of oil in this country. It is Canada. Canada, period. Not the Saudis. They're number 3. Mexico's ahead of them right now. So I mean, we got to have what we get from the Saudis. I think the number was right around 550,000 barrels a day from the Saudis right now, somewhere along in there, which that can go up or go down at any time. And Mexico is 645,000 barrels a day. And see, Mexico's right here, so we can get it. We don't have to ship it and go around the world in ships in the ocean and worry about those ships leaking, tanker leaking all out in the ocean, all of that stuff. Mexico's right down here below us. We can just, it's a lot quicker and a lot easier. Of course, yeah, you're going to have spills. That's going to happen, but it's not like trying to ship it all over the world. You know what I'm saying?
I do. All right, let's cut to the chase. We're getting close to our time here. Let's cut to the chase. You, Waylon, who's worked in the industry, you also see how it is hurting college football altogether. The athletic, the schools, the fans, all the way across the boards. Because even if you want to hire a great coach, you ain't going to have the money to do it because it's cost you too much just to send your players, basketball players, soccer players, gymnastics, swimming, whatever, costs too much money to send them to other schools to compete. Yeah. So what would be your solution on how to fix this?
Well, that's what I was going to finish off. I said, this country's going to have to take its foot off some people's throats.
Right.
Go into office and tell the fossil fuel business, we just going to put you out of business overnight. Let's transition this country into more greener things like we've always done, but gradually take steps towards that. Not just walk into an office and tell the fossil fuel business, you're done. He knew that wasn't going to happen. You can't do that overnight. That's like I told you, tearing down the mountain and then going for the oil. How many years is it going to take you to get that mountain tore down before you're going to get that oil? Let's gradually make this country greener, which is going to have to increase more electricity on the grid. So we're going to have some more nuclear plants or some more natural gas plants or some more wind. We're going to have to do that. And gradually, you're never going to get rid of oil and gas. It's never going to go away. You're always going to have it. This country at one time before we were here, somebody lived here totally green, but we can't do it. We can't do that. There's no way. So we're going to have to transition, ease up on some of these countries, watch our, all the bills we're passing, put out the permits if they're not putting out the permits, drill in the best places where we can get it the quickest, the easiest, the cheapest, and transition more to greener stuff. And once they transition more to greener stuff, the price of the cars and trucks will go down. You remember when you bought your first flat screen TV, cost you $5,000?
I didn't buy one then.
Right.
They had to get down to $200 for me to get one.
I told William I bought my first one. It was about $4,000. Now I can go to Walmart and buy one for $250.
You wouldn't brag, would you? I'm messing with you, Waylon. I'm messing with you. Ain't no way in hell $4,000 to me pays my bills. I can't for a month. I can't do that.
Well, yeah, that's what my people said. What are you? I gave about $4,000 because they was coming into they was the thing right then. When it's right. The thing, you're going to pay the most for it. But when we get to transitioning and get these cars rolling and they produce more of them and get them out there, the price will drop. Everything has always done that. We saw that. We know the middle people can't afford a $150,000 electric car, but they can afford maybe a $50,000 one.
But you can't do it overnight. You can't just shut the spigot off and be able to drink water. You can't do it.
Bottom line is this: lift the sanctions, go greener gradually, which we're doing. That's good. Watch the legislation, the bills they're passing, ease up on some things. And I can tell you right now, after 4th of July, you'll see gas go down. But I don't think it'll ever go below $3 a gallon again. I got my doubts.
Probably not. But I will have to say this right quick on your greener deal you was talking about. Around my house, I've got solar security cameras and lights up all the way around it. It goes up out in the field. Not to say anybody might come up. I like to see the wild animals. But anyway, just saying. But, with all this rain and everything, I had to hardwire these things to electrical. because without no sunshine, they don't work.
No.
So for me to wire them to electrical, I need the fossil fuels for them to work.
That's why.
Just saying, if there ain't no sunshine on rainy days, you ain't got no power. I'm just leaving it there. That's all I'm saying on that one.
What they got to do is like out west, in California now and in these states, when you build a new house, you got to have a solar system that is adequate enough to run that house completely if you don't have any power going to it. In Hawaii, I got a buddy who lives in Hawaii. You know what his light bill is a month?
I have no clue.
$21 a month. He's Wahalco. He's got a solar system. When he bought the house, was on it so many panels, and his light bill is $21 a month.
Okay.
He lives in a $2 million house with a $21 light bill a month. But now he has a system to where, like you said, when the sun's not always shining, it's like the oil. You got to store it up.
Right.
And they have the systems, and they're going to have to take those solar systems and panels to where the middle class people and poor people can put them on their houses and be able to do that and transition to that. And the systems that are big enough to where they can store it up when you don't have a sunny day every day. But they're going to have to do it. If not, it's not going to work, because most people can't afford that now.
It sounds to me like it's going to be a 100-year plan. And if I just know if they keep going down the path they are, you're going to be looking at these big, gorgeous stadiums, and they're going to be half filled.
Well, it is hurting people. I mean, there's a lot.
I'm going to let you take over for 1 second. I got to answer this. I'm going to let you 1 second.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that, it's just not able to go to the games because maybe they've priced them out of it. And also maybe it's, the oil prices too. It always takes 2 and 2 to make 4. 2 and 2 is not 10, I can't live back in the past when I went. Like I said, $6, $8, $9, $10 a ticket to see Alabama play football. That's not going to happen anymore. So, I'd like to see them drop the prices, but I wouldn't hold my breath, and wait on them to drop the prices, because they're not. I saw a lot of people. I knew a lot of people that used to go to games that, can't afford to go anymore. I mean, I saw that. I know everybody has come in contact with somebody that has been in that situation. But I was rattling on about the ticket price and stuff. I don't never see them bringing it to. I'll say this, and I'm gonna end it right here. I know several people that used to go to the ball games that can't afford to go anymore. And I used to buy my season tickets, and I'd give them away so the kids could go see the football game, because I saw so many of them. I don't give a shit if I ever go back down there again.
Right.
I mean, I love Alabama, but I've got that 75-inch screen TV on the wall, like you said. I can sit back. Dude, those kids want to go down there and see that. And when I was a kid, it was affordable enough you could go. Now the kids, if it comes down to me going or giving my tickets, I'm going to give it to the families and kids that's never been there, so they can get that treat that I once got when I was a young person.
Well, plus we can, sitting at our house, we can smoke and watch the game and talk shit.
Right.
Just let me throw this out there, everybody. The CTS, the Bama football collectives are planning on being live for the Alabama-Texas A&M game. Now, we can't show the game.
No.
We can't show the game. It's against all regulations.
Right.
But you can sit and watch us old people cuss, raise Cain, play by play, and you'll watch me go through at least 30 shirts if we ain't playing good. If I'm wearing the same shirt at the end of the game that I was at the beginning of the game, Alabama just blew somebody out. If not, I will be changing them left and right. So y'all can laugh at me and have a good time on that one. But
I'm ready.
We're ready.
I'm ready for tomorrow.
For tomorrow night, I want everybody to please tune in. You get the whole board members in, and we're going to have a great time. Thank everybody for tuning in for this special Oil versus College Football fans. Waylon actually worked in the industry, so I was interested in his personal input on it, because I have no clue about that. You want to ask me how to remodel a house, put a roof on, build a building, that's me. He's the oil guy. So, but anyway, I want to thank everybody, and everybody have a great night, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Bye-bye, everyone.